David Smith here with one more flipped classroom math video lesson. 3 tips before we start. First, remember you can adjust the playback speed to make it faster or slower as you like. Second, you can pause the video at any point to catch up on your notes or jot down some questions. Third, you can turn on the captions so you can read my words on the screen. Today's lesson, solving rational equations. So we've been playing around with rational equations and doing a lot of things with graphing them and asymptotes and intercepts. Now we're going to step away from that work and we're just going to solve them like equations, like you solve for x. So here's our first example. Here's my equation, 3 over 2x minus 2x over x plus 1 equals negative 2. And we're going to be asked to solve that for x. This is just algebra. It's a little tricky because we have 2 fractions with very different denominators. So our first step is to get them all over one common denominator. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to multiply this fraction by the denominator over the denominator of the other one, and vice versa for this one. And I'll show you what that looks like. So this first fraction is going to get multiplied by x plus 1 over x plus 1. We can do that because this is just 1. So we're not changing it. And that's going to be times 3 over 2x. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one, except we're going to multiply it by 2x over 2x. So 2x over 2x times 2x over x plus 1. And of course this all equals negative 2. Now it's getting more complicated, but believe me, it's going to simplify on down. We're going to get just one answer for this one. Okay, so I'm going to deal with my denominator first. Check it out. That and that are the same thing. So this whole thing is going to be over 2x times x plus 1. Okay? And then on the top here, I have 3 times x plus 1. So that's 3x plus 3 for those. And then I have a minus, and the minus is that whole term there. And fortunately, it's a simple one. It's just 4x squared. All equals negative 2. So getting simpler. Now let's just simplify on down. I've got 3x plus 3 minus 4x squared. This is going to be 2x squared plus 2x equals negative 2. Let's jump over there. Now, the way I get rid of this fraction is I multiply both sides of the equation by what's in the denominator, and that's going to cancel this one and put that over there. So I'm going to have 3x plus 3 minus 4x squared. That's just the top of this one. Now we're going to multiply this negative 2 by this, and I'm going to get negative 4x squared minus 4x. So there we go. Now we've got a straightforward equation where we can move terms around and solve for x. So let's see what happens here. First off, if I add 4x squared to both sides, they're going to go away. So I have 3x plus 3 equals negative 4x. Now let me move the 3 over to that side. Subtract 3, subtract 3. 3x equals negative 4x minus 3. Now I'm going to add 4x to both sides. I have 7x equals negative 3. Divide through by 7. Negative 3 over 7. So that's my value of x that solves that equation. Okay, here's one for you to try. So what I'd like you to do, pause the video and work this problem and really give it a good shot. Don't just be lazy and just, oh, I'll watch David explain it. Really try to do that. Did you try it? If you didn't, go ahead. Okay, here we go. I'll work it. So I'm going to multiply this fraction by this over itself. So I have x plus 2 over x plus 2 times 4 over 3x plus, now I'm going to do the same thing over here by the other denominator. All equals just regular old 3. Okay? Now let's simplify. The bottom is just going to be 3x times x plus 2. And on my top, I'm going to have 4x plus 8. And then over here, I'm just going to get 9x squared. All equals 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. 3x times x plus 2 is 3x squared plus 6. Because this is going to let me get to my next step like right away. So I'm going to cross multiply this by that to get it out of the bottom. It's going to give me 4x plus 8 plus 9x squared equals, oh, look at that, another 9x squared plus 18. So now I have my nice straightforward equation, no more fractions. Now we can just combine like terms, divide through to solve for x. So if I subtract 9x squared from this side, it's going to cancel that one out. So those are just going to go away. And I am going to bring my, oh wait, something's wrong. This is 6x. I hope you caught that before I did. So this becomes 18x right there. Interesting. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract my 4x over there. So that leaves the 8 on this side. 4x from 18x is 14x. Divide through by 14, and x is going to be 8 over 14, which reduces down to 4 over 7, like that. Okay, remember earlier in this unit, we talked about inverses of functions. So now that we've complexified our rational functions, we're going to go back to that and we're going to take the inverse of those functions. So check this out. Here's my f of x. It's just a straightforward x minus 4 over 3x minus 2. And now we're being asked to find f inverse of x. Now stop a second, think, what was the algebraic trick that we use to find the inverse of a function? If you thought switch x and y and solve for y, you're right. So that's all we do, is we just switch x for y. So this equation can be written y equals x minus 4 over 3x minus 2. So now we switch x for y, so the x goes there, and now I have y minus 4 over 3y minus 2. So now I've got an equation where I just need to solve for y. It's a little complicated because I got y in 2 places, also in a fraction, so that adds a little bit to it. First thing we're going to do is multiply, cross multiply like that, and get 3xy minus 2x equals y minus 4. Now if you remember from when we did this before, we need to get the two y terms alone on one side so we can factor it out and then divide out to solve for y. So I'm going to move my y over here and I'm going to add my 2x over there. So I'm going to get 3xy minus y, because that comes over as a negative. I'm going to add 2x to each side, and so I'll have 2x minus 4 over there. So now I have my two y terms on one side. I can factor the y out and get y times 3x minus 1 equals 2x minus 4. Last step, divide through by 3x minus 1 to get the y alone, and I have 2x minus 4 over 3x minus 1. And there you have it. Now, if you want to do something really fun with algebra, see if you can find f inverse of x and make that equal to x. I'm not going to do that because that's a lot of algebra, but if you're feeling up to a challenge, you could do that. Embed this function inside this function and see what you get. Okay, so now I want you to try one. No, really, pause the video and try to do this one. Here's the function, 2x plus 9 over 3x minus 4. Find f inverse of x. So go ahead and see what you get. Okay, I'll do it now, but I hope you did it. I hope you tried it. So here we go. I'm going to switch my x and y, so I get x equals 2y plus 9 over 3y minus 4. So there's essentially my plug-in step for this technique. Now I just need to isolate y alone, and I've done all my work. So first thing, cross multiply. I'm going to get 3xy minus 4x equals 2y plus 9. Now I need to get my y terms alone on one side, so I'm going to subtract 2y, get 3xy minus 2y, and then I'm going to move my 4x over, so I'm going to add it, so I have 4x plus 9. So now I have my y's alone, so I can factor that out. 3x minus 2 equals 4x plus 9. And finally, last step, divide through. So I get y equals 4x plus 9 over 3x minus 2. There you go. Now that you've watched the video, take a moment to jot down any additional notes, some questions, or a quick summary of the lesson. You can also re-watch the portions of the video that were a little bit challenging for you. If you enjoyed the video, please click like. And if you'd like to help me grow my YouTube channel, please click subscribe.